topic is diseases of bone. So in diseases of bone also, we are not going to see all the diseases. Some of the common ones which are um, common in the jaw bones which we will study. So one of them is Paget's disease. Paget's disease is also known as osteitis deformans. As I said, always split the terminology. Itis is inflammation. Ostea is bone. There is inflammation of bone and there is deformation of the bone. So if you know this, you can write at least some points about this disease. So this could be an inflammatory condition which could be leading to the deformation of the bone. So this is called as Paget's disease because this was reported by Sir James Paget in 1877. Although it is thought to be due to unknown etiology, nowadays it is considered to be a genetic condition, and the genes PD, P1 to PDB7 are known to cause Paget's disease. Also, it could be an inflammatory disease or due to vascular malformation or increased blood supply to bones, or also it could be due to some viral infections. So although it is written that unknown etiology, although exact etiology is not known, but these are some of the etiological factors resulting into Paget's disease. There is excess and abnormal remodeling of bone happening here. There is increased resorption of bone. There is increased formation of disorganized bone. The resulting bone is weak, enlarged, and deformed. And radiographically, there are 3 stages seen. One is lytic stage when there is resorption of bone. There is mixed stage where there is bone deposition seen, and sclerotic when there is dense bone formation. This mixed type changes into the sclerotic type. And the bones involved are mostly the bones of axial skeleton, the tibia, fibula. These bones are involved. They get deformed. That's why there is bowing of legs. And the chest becomes flat. And the head size is increased. If the patient is a hat wearer, he complains of need to wear hats of in large sizes. If the patient is a denture wearer, again he needs to replace his dentures because maxilla and mandible size is increasing. These bones are very painful. They are warm to touch. When it's in jaw bones, maxilla is commonly affected. When the maxilla is affected, there is swelling of maxillary bone, maxilla as well as maxillary sinus, zygomatic bone is seen, giving lion-like appearance, which is called as leonchiossis ossea. This is in this figure, we can see the maxillary ridge expansion. The spacing between maxillary anteriors is seen. This is another maxillary Paget's disease with expansion of maxilla. Here, expansion of ridge as well as palatal bone is seen here. This is mandibular Paget's disease. There is mandibular prognatism. Radiographically, as it is stated that it manifests in 3 stages. Sometimes in the skull there is a large single radiolucency is found, which is known as osteoporosis circumscripta. And sometimes you in the second stage, if you take the radiograph during second stage, you can see patchy radioopacity giving cotton wool type of appearance. So this cotton wool appearance or osteoporosis circumscripta are the characteristic radiographic findings of Paget's disease. So here in the mandible, you can see cotton wool appearance. There is sclerosis of bone happening here. The lamina dura around the roots of teeth are lost and there is hypercementosis. This is again a common finding. This is the Paget's disease of the mandible. This is a mandibular scan which is looking dark because of the radioisotopes, and this is called as black beard or Lincoln sign. So this is a mandibular Paget's disease. Microscopically, you can see repeated bone formation and resorption, which is separated by reversal lines. Also, there are multinucleated osteoclast cells are seen. Connective tissue is vascular. Because of this repeated formation and resorption of bone and presence of reversal lines, This bone has a mosaic appearance, or it is also known as jigsaw puzzle appearance, as if multiple bones are joined together. Pieces of bones are joined together. That's why it is called as jigsaw puzzle or mosaic appearance. Connective tissue, these are osteoclast cells. Laboratory finding, this is again I have a question. What are the lab findings of Paget's disease? So, in alkaline phosphatase levels in serum of these patients is increased. Sometimes it is increased almost more than 250 Bodanski's unit. The normal value is up to 50 Bodanski's unit. So, here in this Paget's disease, the alkaline phosphatase levels are increased. Urinary hydroxyproline levels are also increased in Paget's disease. Next disorder of bone is fibrous dysplasia, again a common condition, common in jawbones. So we'll discuss it because it is common in jawbones. It is a developmental skeletal disorder. Normal bone is replaced by fibrous tissue and irregular bony trabeculum. It is classified into monostotic. Again, split it. Mono means single, stotic is bone. When single bone, ostotic, monostotic. So single bone is involved, monostotic. Multiple bones are involved, it is polyostotic. The craniofacial, when the cranial bones including maxilla, zygomatic, sphenoid, ethmoidal bones are involved, it is called as craniofacial type of fibrous dysplasia. Now this, when multiple bones are involved, that is in polyostotic fibrous dysplasia, it is again of two types, that is Jaffe's type and McCune-Albright syndrome. Jaffe's type, there are multiple bones are involved. There is pigmentation also, but there is no endocrinal disturbance. In McCune-Albright syndrome, multiple bones are involved. There are cafe au lait spots seen, and also there is endocrinal disturbance found. Now, this etiology of fibrous dysplasia, it is a genetic disorder due to mutation in gene GNAS1 located at chromosome 20. This GNAS1 is guanine nucleotide binding protein, alpha stimulating activity polypeptide 1. Type of fibrous dysplasia occurring depends upon the developmental stage of embryo when the mutation occurs. If the mutation occurs at early stage of the embryo, severe type of fibrous dysplasia or polyostotic type of fibrous dysplasia develops. Monostotic fibrous dysplasia is most common, that is 80% of fibrous dysplasias are monostotic, and the jaws are most commonly involved, that too maxilla is most commonly involved. It is slow growing, painless swelling, so something like this. The diffuse swelling without well defined borders, so slow growing, painless swelling of maxilla. Radiographically, there could be radiolucency. In the first stage, there is radiolucency, which could be uni or multilocular. In the second stage, mottle appearance, because bone starts developing there. So there is mixed radiolucent and radiopaque lesion giving mottle appearance. And in the third stage, it gives ground glass appearance or powdery orange appearance or thumbprint appearance. So this is ground glass appearance. This is the third stage because fine bony trabeculation has developed in the lesion, giving the ground glass appearance. This is again expansion of the bone is seen and ground glass appearance is seen. This is powder orange appearance or orange peel appearance. This is thumbprint appearance. So again, this orange peel, powder orange, or ground glass or thumbprint, these are characteristic terminologies, radiographic terminologies for fibrous dysplasia. So each pathology has got some characteristic feature. So you must remember such characteristic features. Craniofacial fibrous dysplasia affects maxilla and adjacent bones, that is zygomatic, sphenoid, occipital or ethmoid bone. There is facial deformity and there is severe malocclusion. So this is the craniofacial. There is expansion of craniofacial bones. In polyostotic fibrous dysplasia, multiple bones are involved. When only multiple bones are involved along with cafe au lait pigmentation, it is Jaffe's type or Jaffe-Lichtenstein syndrome. When multiple bones are involved along with cafe au lait pigmentation and endocrinal abnormality, it is called as McCune-Albright syndrome. So this is the pigmentation which abruptly ends at the midline of the abdomen of the patient, and it looks like coastline of Maine, so it is called as coastline of Maine. Histopathology of fibrous dysplasia is again very characteristic. You can see fine trabeculation of bone. They are evenly placed in the fibrous connective tissue stroma, and these trabeculae, they have peculiar shape. They are C-shaped, or they are also called as Chinese letter trabeculation. They are also known as ginger root type of trabeculae. They do look like ginger root, but they are not lined by osteoblasts. Some of the trabeculae in some areas may show osteoblastic cells, but most of the trabeculae are not lined by osteoblasts. And the connective tissue stroma is fibrocellular. The differential diagnosis is ossifying fibroma, and it should be demarcated. The ossifying fibroma is demarcated from normal bone by a radiolucent rim, and the trabeculae are lined by osteoblasts. They are lined by osteoblasts. So this is the difference. Next, disorder of the bone, again very commonly asked question, cherubism, and it is very commonly remembered, easily remembered by students because of the appearance of the face of the child. It is called as cherubism. Cherubism is again a genetic anomaly. It is due to the disturbance in gene, that is SH3PB2 type of gene, and here there is symmetrical enlargement, bilateral enlargement of maxillary and mandibular bone. Also there is cervical lymph node enlargement, giving a circular or chubby face. That's why called as cherubism. Okay, the child is born normal, but after 14th month up to 3 years, there is bilateral expansion, painless expansion of maxilla and mandibular starts symmetrically, giving chubby face. When the orbital rim is involved, there is expansion of the orbital rim also, and then in that case the sclera is turned, or the eyes are turned. Appearance, only a slight white border of sclera is seen in that case. Now, there is early loss of deciduous teeth because osteoclastic activity is happening. This particular gene which is involved, is responsible for differentiation of osteoclast. Differentiated here, and they start destroying this alveolar bone. So there is early loss of the teeth. Now this condition, this expansion of bone slows down after 5 years, and then it stops at puberty, and at the end of second or third decade, the face becomes normal. So this is a radiographic feature of cherubism, where multilocular radiolucencies are seen bilaterally, and there are multiple teeth found floating in it because there is loss of alveolar bone. This is called as floating tooth syndrome. And microscopically, there is fibrovascular connective tissue stroma with multinucleated giant cells which are osteoclasts. No treatment is required because it is a self-limiting condition. Next bone disorder is cleidocranial dysplasia or cleidocranial dysostosis. It is also known as Mary Sentence disease. It is a disorder of generalized skeleton. It mainly affects clavicle and skull. There is a defect in CBF1 gene which is located at chromosome 6. It is autosomal dominant condition. There is either absence or hypoplasia of clavicle. That's why patient can bring his shoulders to the midline. There is delayed closing of fontanelles and sutures, and the head looks flat. There is brachycephaly, and there is Arnold head. This Arnold is the name of a person in which such head was found first. That's why it is called as Arnold head. He was a Chinese person. There is spina bifida, occulta, short stature, mild mental retardation, and there could be hearing defect as well. So here the clavicles are missing or they are underdeveloped, so person can bring his shoulders to the midline. In the oral cavity, there is high arch palate, cleft palate, underdeveloped maxilla, mandibular prognathism. There is prolonged retention of deciduous teeth and delayed or absence of eruption of permanent teeth because of absence of cellular cementum around the root, and there could be supernumerary teeth found. So here absence of clavicles. There are multiple teeth unerupted found in the jawbones, and histopathologically there is absence of cellular skeleton found.